Illinois coach will be first one in after his video show in the hallway, so give him a few minutes, he'll be in first. Illinois coach. I'm also in the house.
He's awesome. Our comment wasn't ready in the hook time, so it's gonna just get changed in the trade. So it's worth it.
Yeah, you're not gonna come win a basketball game on the road against a good basketball team. Turned the ball over 26 times, not really getting even a good look the last 5 minutes because we didn't execute. We turned the ball over 4 times in that sequence. But really alarming, the number of turnovers and the lack of ball movement. But Trent Frazier was great. Give Shaka and his kids a ton of credit. We got stops. We also did 2 boneheaded things. Fouling in the backcourt, 94 feet, but we, which we talk about, we preach. You can't do that. But didn't run very good offense. We've got to become better. When we did run offense, we got great shots. We got Trent good looks. When we attacked the press, but we had shot clock violations. We had guys turning down shots that, shots we take out of offense. It was just an interesting night, and maybe a night we learned a lot. I thought we were very passive. Obviously, without Kofi, everything we do is has been geared towards, getting him the ball. I mean, he's a guy we want to get 15 to 20 looks to and being able to play off of that. But we didn't have much in the paint tonight, and hence the 7 free throw attempts. But give Shaka, give Marquette a ton of credit, and we just weren't very good last 5 minutes.
Coach, you said the biggest question this offseason was figuring out closing time and who would step up. How much did you try to prepare for this? How much is this something you'd have to experience without IO and try to figure it out?
Yeah, that experience, you got to go through it. You've got to be able to execute, and that was the one thing that we did at a high level last year. We execute, and Iowa would make the shot, but you got to execute. And tonight was just obviously 5 turnovers. We didn't execute in the last 5 minutes, and we got 13 assists, and that's not a very good number for us. But we'll get that figured out.
Down the stretch there, the last 2 minutes or so, was the idea to try to kill some clock, and what were those designed ISOs for Andre, or did it just turn out that way?
No, we have a play that we like to run. We were trying to create a little bit of a matchup with the Lewis kid and put him in some space. And it was something that they had not handled real well. The one time we did, we taped it to Jake with short clock, and he didn't recognize the clock and drove it. And then we had Trent wide open on one. It's just a little slip action, but Bello's our guy. We're gonna live with him, and Trent. We tried to run a couple actions to get him a good look, and again, it's tough sledding.
Bello was especially out of control after he went down, clutching his head on the opposite side. Do you know if he's okay? Paul looked at him a little bit.
No clue yet.
Coach, when Coach Mice teams remember that pressure defense, did you think you guys were spread up a little bit by that pressure defense, even for those turnovers?
We've been pressed twice in 2 games. I think it's just being on the road. I think it was just out of character. Out of character is the only way I know to describe it. Probably. I thought we missed 7 layups, I think, the first half in the paint. I thought Kawaf really impacted the game from a defensive standpoint. I thought he was terrific in ball screens. He obviously makes a big steal on Bello late, but his shot blocking. But we got the ball, I think in the paint, and that's again when we missed Kofi, and then things settled down a little bit.
Brad, what do you want Andre to learn from this experience?
A lot. There's a ton of learning points to learn from that. When things aren't going your way offensively, you gotta trust your teammates. And he's a really good player. He's got a lot. He thinks he's got a lot of burden on his shoulders. He doesn't. We've got a lot of really good players. And when things don't go your way, you gotta trust your teammates. And he'll do that because that young man cares about winning a lot.
Coach, is part of that, finding that trust, that late game identity, is that maybe why you did not take time out in the last 10 seconds to kind of see if they could find their own way?
Yeah, I hate that. We knew exactly then they could change defense, we practice that. Last 10 seconds, we know exactly what we're running. And I hate calling a timeout. You trust your guys, you work on it in practice. Tonight it didn't work.
Y'all played the majority of your games with no fans, limited fans last season, first kind of through road game. How much of the factor do you think that might have been if it
Huge, big factor. It was good for our guys. Again, we got some guys in some new roles. Coleman, Omar, Ben. All those guys are playing in significant roles, and now they're playing on the road. Again, they were. It was a fantastic crowd. It's a loud building. It's a beautiful building. It's my first time in it, it got pretty good there.
Brian, how much of a stabilizing force was Trent when you need someone to do that?
Yeah, he hit shots. He made shots. He's confident in the timeout. I mean, it's a kid that's in the locker room in tears. Turning it over late, but that's our guy. That's our guy, and we were trying to get him shots. Believe me, it was. No one loves Trent Frazier more than me, and the leadership he provides every single day is impactful.
Coach, do you think there's still maybe some youthful moments that this team is experiencing? I know you came into the season with a lot of veterans, but do you feel like that youth was a little bit evident today?
Yeah, especially about Kofi. When you're talking about Kofi being a guy that's got 60 games, we're playing 3 guys there. Coleman, Omar, and Ben have got very, very little run throughout the college experience. And, so it's an experience. Dre's in a new role, Bello's in a new role. And sure, he's a redshirt freshman. So, there's some experience, but, until we get Kofi back and we'll have a little different look about us because of that, and the experience will be part of that.
Thank you. Illinois players, Coleman Hawkins, and Trent Frazier will be available in the hallway here in a few minutes.
Stay tuned for shot clock.
Bill, you're brought in here to kind of help establish a defensive identity. How important is this coming in today to show when, you're not shooting well, you get some free throws, but defensively, you can force your way back into the game and get a signature win?
It's big. I didn't play a lot of college games. I didn't seen a lot of, different things, different endings. I didn't want it a bunch of different ways. I think it was big for our young guys to see that, we just stay persistent, keep guarding, and get stops when we're supposed to, we got a chance to win. I don't really think anything went our way today. We missed a lot of free throws. We missed a lot of shots that we usually make or that we work on a lot. But I think the week was just audacity. And I just like how we had the audacity to, stay confident and find a way to get that win today.
Illinois was really hot early in the second half, got it up to 12. Just what were y'all saying at that point? What was you and the team? Because after that 12-point run, they got up to 12, you answered right back, and you were a big part of that.
Yeah. Well, when we got in the huddle, I just told them they're the number 10 team in the country for a reason. I knew coming out in the second half they was going to make a run. It was just about how we responded to it. I think we responded pretty well. Some of that run was part of my fault. I let Frazier go a couple times and get some shots that I shouldn't have allowed. But I just like how we fought. We got in the bonus. We got to the free throw line. And we just responded. We always talk about response as a team. Just like how we found a way to get this win. We just responded the appropriate way. We stuck together, so it was great.
Kerr was really active back there, blocking shots, getting steals. When he's playing like that, how does that energize the defense?
I love it. Being a defensive team and, having a guy like Kerr on the back end, cleaning up everything is phenomenal. He played terrific in the second half. I think he had 4 or 5 blocks alone just in the second half. So it was great to see him, he's getting back to himself. So I loved it. He stepped up, made some big free throws. Being a veteran guy, he just got to keep playing with confidence. And it's going to come. So it was great seeing him play that way today.
Yeah, on the back there. The guy to your right, it's his first big win as a head coach at Marquette. It's also your first big win at Marquette. What does it mean to you to do this together?
It means a lot. I got here this summer with this group of guys, and they all just took me in and embraced who I was as a person, and just respected me. So just playing with these guys, living with them, practicing, competing every day. It's great to get a win like this because we know how hard we work. We know that we're capable of it. So for it to finally show it's good. And I think this should be like confidence building for us and our young guys. Because like I said, not too much went our way. We couldn't make free throws. We was missing open shots. But like I said, the thing of this game was audacity. I just like how we had the audacity to keep fighting and win this game.
Daryl, you and Trent Frazier have had your battles over the years when you were in Maryland, and he would score down the last 10 minutes of the game. Did that familiarity with him kind of help you shut it down those last 10 minutes?
I feel like he got going. I lost him a couple times early in the second half when they made their run. I was trying to, cheat plays and beat him in the spots. I think, as a team, we kind of just locked in and played man-to-man defense. And it was great. I just tried to keep him in front, make it as tough as I could for him. He's a good player though, but it was great, to get the win. I'm all about winning, so I knew we needed stops. We was losing. You can't win if you're down. You need no stops. So I was just focused on getting stops and making it as tough as I could. And luckily, things went our way and we found a way to get it.
Daryl, at the end there, you guys were up 1, and the last couple of seconds, that was probably the biggest defensive possession that you guys had all game. What was the feeling and mindset going into that final possession, and the feeling when you guys were able to punch it out and just secure the one with the steal?
So when Tyler got fouled, we kind of huddled up at the free throw line, and we just talked about one stop. I looked at all the guys, and I'm like, bro, we worked too hard to fight back to give it up on one possession. we talked about getting one stop and finishing it with a rebound. But you know, Stevie is a hell of a one ball defender, and I'm really proud of him. You know, he stepped up to the line late. He missed 2 free throws. I just told him forget about it. You don't make a play. That's what he did. He guarded the hell out of the ball on that possession. You got to steal, and you got us to win. So that was all we really talking about.
That's it for Daryl. Thanks. Thanks, Daryl.
Yep. Really proud of Daryl and his teammates for believing in each other and believing in themselves. As you mentioned, the theme of this game, we always have a game theme, was audacity. Not a lot of people outside our locker room gave us much of a chance to win this game, playing against a top 10 team. But the guys believed, and the guys stayed together. I thought Illinois made a heck of a run, just making shots and making plays to take a big lead, 12-point lead with halfway through the second half. But our guys just hung in there, and it's human nature to get frustrated when some plays aren't going your way on the offensive end. But as a team that has a desperation to win, you can't allow that to affect defense. And I thought our guys throughout the game did not let it affect our defensive end, and obviously came up big with 10 out of the last 11 stops.
Chuck, we know we've talked a lot about establishing a culture here. How big is a win like this for, you didn't shoot well, you didn't knock down free throws, but defensively, you guys turned them over, got steals in the final minute, end of the game on the trail. How big is that to kind of sell your vision?
Yeah, it's big because, when you have games that, come down to the end like this, and when you don't shoot the ball very well, miss some free throws, some guys don't necessarily have their best offensive night. For guys to learn that they can win anyway, which is a key phrase for us, win anyway, that gives you more belief the next time you're in that situation. And I'm really proud of our guys because, let's face it, we've not been in a game like this together as a group. Daryl's been in games like this at Maryland. Other guys that have played college basketball elsewhere or here have been in games like this, but nobody together as a team on our group. And our guys, they just stayed together. The way they were talking in the huddles, they believed that they could win. That was a big key.
Coach, you were back there. After the game, I kind of followed you around center court. It looked like you took a moment and looked around, and just wondering what's running through your mind.
Just trying to enjoy the moment. I thought our crowd was phenomenal, and particularly our students, but everybody in the building. There was great energy, and so after the game, just I'm big. I emphasize this a lot with the team and with myself of just being present, and so I was just trying to be in that moment and kind of soak that in. Look at the crowd, look at our guys, look at our students enjoying the win, and try to refrain from what I normally do, which is thinking about like the next game, like immediately when the game ends. But it's I told Dr. Lovell and Bill, I'm really grateful to be here at Marquette and have this opportunity to coach these guys. And this is just the beginning for us. And there's going to be twists and turns and ups and downs. We're probably not going to win every game, but I think this is a really good step for us, for our guys to understand that you can win a game like this and you can come back when we're down double figures against a good team.
Coach, one of the biggest things you pride yourself in is the defense, especially your defense. And you were able to turn the ball over 26 times against Illinois. So how does it feel knowing when you go into more of the top teams in the country like Villanova and UConn, that you can play with one of the top teams in the
country? Yeah, I mean, interestingly, if we could have defensive rebounded a lot better than we did tonight, then our defense could have been significantly better. But the way that our guys got our hands on the basketball, I believe we were right at our deflection goal number of 32. It's amazing how that works. Like, we needed every one of those, including the one down the stretch that Tyler had. But if we can have that type of activity, I thought a big key, Illinois is one of the best pick and roll teams in the country. And I thought Kirk and Oso guarding the screener did a heck of a job, just as we say, impacting the screen, and not out with a lot of comfort. One time Curry even plucked the guy, took it from him, which is rare for someone so big. But yeah, I mean, our guys were really committed to defense. I thought our first two games, our defense was not as good as it needed to be. Tonight, a lot better against a higher quality team. There's certainly a lot of room for growth, particularly on the rebounding side. But, it's November, so we just want to keep getting better.
Coach, since October, you've been talking about Tyler's shooting ability and everything he can do on the court. When he got that steal that led to that layup and he got that foul, what was going through your head, and how confident were you in his leadership in those moments?
Yeah, I'm happy for him because he took a heck of a hit to his leg in the last game. And he has been, him and Brandon Yoder, our athletic trainer, they have been working around the clock. I don't think he's slept, Tyler. I mean, he's been getting treatment like nonstop on that knee. He didn't practice the last 2 days. He was not 100%, but he's such a gritty, tough kid. And he actually did some of his best defensive possessions down the stretch that I've ever seen him have. I'm on him a lot about defense. I always ask him, are you offensive minded or defensive minded? In basketball, you can be both. But I'm really proud of the way he just showed grittiness. He's our best passer by far. And then for him to make those back-to-back threes, we needed those because obviously we were struggling to shoot the ball.
You said you have a theme for every game. I was out to ask you, is that something that's always been part of your career, have kind of a theme for each game, or is that something you kind of started this year?
Started a few years ago. I'm a big believer in saying the same thing in different ways, because I think with young people, if you say the same thing the same way, eventually it kind of loses its effect. But the reality is what goes into winning doesn't really change. So it's not like, we can have a theme of like, something that's completely different. So our themes, are a lot of the things that we already promote and preach to these guys on a daily basis. Sometimes it has to do like more with the mentality. Other times it has to do with, the physicality we need to play with. And the theme only works if the guys make it work. And tonight they did.
Chuck, you mentioned Kerr. I'm sure Kerr would tell you he didn't play as well as he could have the first couple games.
Yeah, he was awesome.
How does that energize the defense when he sees that his lane from backline?
I think when he is lost in a fight, he's as good a shot blocker as there is in college basketball. And I saw it firsthand coaching against him when he was at Oklahoma. And that's one of the reasons that we were so excited about him deciding to come here. The last couple games, Kerr has very, very high expectations for himself. And he felt like he was letting his team down, and he let it kind of snowball into, a little bit of frustration. And what happened is it took him out of the present play. And I just told him these last couple of days, he and I had a little bit of a confrontation the other day in practice, because I was trying to get him to just change his mentality. But I told him just focus on what you can control in the current moment. And I thought, again, with this pick and roll defense, did a great job of that. And then just staying with plays and the way he blocked shots, that was special.
Shaka, how were you guys able to bother Andre Carvalho? A lot of people think he'd be one of the best point guards in the country.
He is one of the best point guards in the country. He's terrific. But we just tried to, our plan was to start Darryl on him, which we did. But then Frazier got going so much, we had to make a switch there. And, we're fortunate Curbelo picked up foul trouble in the first half. So I think anytime that happens to a player, it can affect the rhythm a little bit. And then in the second half, I thought Stevie Mitchell on our team did a nice job. And again, our bigs did a nice job of trying to impact him on the screen. He got in the lane a lot and he got downhill a lot, but we didn't stop on the play. and we made some of his shots tougher, contested shots. I'm sure as the year goes on, he'll make a lot of those, but, tonight, to be able to force him to 4 for 18 is huge. And we knew, with Kofi being out that, Corbello and Frazier were going to be the two guys we had to do a great job on. And, we did a heck of a job on one of them, the other one had a great game.
That's it, thanks. Got,
Thank you, guys.
Tyler coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you.
He's Tyler. He's Tyler. He's coming in. Okay.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Tyler. Shaka just mentioned after getting banged up in that last game, you were working around the clock on your knee and getting treatment from Yoder and all that. How much did that affect your game? How were you able to kind of suppress the pain and bring out the win, especially in that final round when you got that steal?
Yeah, I mean, after that game the other night, I couldn't really straighten my leg. I couldn't really even walk. But, obviously, Brandon Yoder, athletic trainer, we were working around the clock trying to really stimulate that leg and get it to where it needs to be. I was close to not playing today, but, taking all those steps, being on the clock 24/7 for these past 3 days, he gave me the okay, and it was just a great team win.
Tyler, down that stretch when you had that steal that ended up the layup, what was going through your head when you saw that play develop? And how happy are you that you're able to be this leader on a team that you're new still to?
Yeah, Coach, we were down 1, so obviously we're going to have to get a quick trap, maybe foul. He was calling Justin up to come trap because this guy was kind of the furthest guy away. But I saw that, the guy's head was turned. I just ran up, tried to make a play, and that was that. But, that wasn't the play that won us the game. We were down 11 maybe with 8 minutes left to go. We just fought. I'm so proud of these guys. We come together, even though it's early in the year, we've come together, we've been so close with each other, and that's really all that matters in a game like this, just, caring about the guy next to you.
Tyler, in the last game, you were shooting the ball as well as you probably wanted to, and in this game, you were able to get the end one that ended up sealing the game for you guys. So what's the feeling that you were able to bounce back from maybe a tougher game against New Hampshire to get this win against Illinois?
Yeah, these past 2 games, I started 0 for 8 from the 3-point line. Obviously, I work on my game a ton. That's not the result that you want, but people go through those rough patches, those rough games. So I just trust the work that I put in, and my teammates found me in the right spots, and we knocked down some shots tonight.
Just how soon before the game did you know you were going to be able to play, and also if you could kind of detail what happened the other night that caused you that.
Yeah, so in the first half, I was driving down the lane, and 2 guys kind of came in. One guy took the charge, the other guy was next to me, and it went. His knee went into, so not right knee to knee, but the bone, the muscle above. It's called the VMO. It's a small muscle, so it was just a contusion. And if it was in the hamstring, it would have been better, just because it's a bigger muscle. But since it kind of hit the whole muscle, so that's what we were working on, just trying to get that back strong. And the swelling's obviously still there. I had a knee pad on today. That was more so just to see to make sure that it wouldn't get hit again. But I was feeling confident that I was going to play right from the day after the game. I'm a tough guy. I'm not just going to sit out and leave my guys out to dry. But he gave me the okay this morning after he went through another session of treatment, and then he checked it out and gave me the okay.
It's the first year in the program. It's playing in big games like this, and it's a top 10 team. One of the reasons we wanted to come here, especially in front of all fans, including your guy Pat Connaughton.
Yeah, I saw him before and after the game. Great that he would come and support. But the atmosphere here was ridiculous. Probably a sold out crowd. I'm not sure how many exactly. My parents were here for this game too, so that's a pretty special moment. just a kid from Rhode Island, just, playing in front of a big crowd in the Big East. Doesn't get much better than that.
Tyler, you mentioned you went 0 for 8 in the stretch, but then late in this game, you hit 2 threes in a couple minutes. Did that get your confidence up at all?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you make shots, it builds your confidence. I always say if I make the first shot, make my first 3 of the game, I'm feeling good right from the beginning. I mean, it took me a while. I didn't make one until probably 5-10 minutes into the second half. My shot wasn't falling before that. I was missing some layups, stuff like that. But, I was trying to defend, share the ball, just trying to do what I can, even if I'm not making shots.
Daryl's kind of carried the offense in the last couple of games. How do you guys keep the other guys going? I mean, several of you guys got going in the second half. How do you guys keep that momentum going?
I mean, just playing together. We're playing connected basketball right now. Nobody's dominating the ball. We're sharing it, spraying it around. Those young guys. This is a big game. Those guys are nervous. I mean, it's understandable. I was nervous playing in my 3rd game with no fans in the crowd. I can only imagine, this sold out crowd. So, those guys, they'll come around, they get more comfortable, but they played a big role in tonight's game. Cam, Stevie, Jock, all those freshmen that came in and really gave us a boost.
Any further questions with that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I think that's it.